So yeah, Nintendo had their Nindies, which there was some really good stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was some stuff I couldn't care less about.
Sure.
Which, I mean, I guess not everything's for everybody, but you and I kind of picked out some things that we wanted to talk about. First of all, Cuphead, which was one of the coolest intros. It was the weird intro.
I had no idea what was going on.
I had no idea what was going on either. I love Cuphead, and I had no idea that this was a Cuphead thing. They were talking about how to pour your milk and not spilling it and ruin your day. And as soon as Cuphead started, I'm like, it makes perfect sense for this for the tone of Cuphead.
Yeah. Until it started, I was like, what in the actual F?
Yep.
And then Cuphead came out, and I was like,
yeah,
perfect.
It's perfect. It will work so well on the Switch. The first thing that I thought of, which I said the same thing about like Dark Souls. I'm like people were like, "Oh, great, I'm gonna break my Switch." I'm like, I'm thinking about like the tension, not throwing it, but just the tension of like freaking out playing some of these games. Like,
yeah,
not that I'm gonna bend it, but I kind of worry about that. These games get hardcore.
Yeah, it's honestly not a game. So the thing that this is a game that, even though everybody is going to play it undocked, based on how there's no auto fire.
Yeah.
In Cuphead, like doing that on the Joy-Con, man.
Yes. That's. I'm worried about that with the. Well, there's auto fire.
My hands aren't that young anymore,
dude.
No,
you can hold it down. And
yeah, there's like.
Yeah.
Isn't that? Well, I mean, don't you have to install it? Isn't it like a? It's not all of them are auto fire, are they?
I thought they all were.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they all, unless there's a specific, like, because you can toggle your loadout, if you will. There's not a lot to choose from. But you can toggle that. Yeah, it should be just automatic. I love.
Still feel like it's gonna be uncomfortable on the.
Oh yeah, Joy-Con. It's gonna definitely be a game that you play with the Super Pro controller. Sorry, I almost said Super Controller, with the Pro controller. Yeah. I think is the best way to do it. We had one that Kevin was excited about. He is not here to talk about it, but Darkwood. Which Darkwood looked interesting. Survival horror, it's a top-down. It's kind of isometric. But it looked good. It looked interesting. I'm not sold on it. There's a lot of that this year, or this Nindies. Because I also wasn't sold on Rad I'm just to jump around just slightly there, but I loved Tim Schafer games. We were just talking about LucasArts earlier, and I just was not sold on this game because I didn't understand what they were trying to convey, other than like, I don't know.
It's rad,
and okay, so but what does that matter? Like, and I'm creating all this green, like, I don't know, like, it didn't convey like enough of a story for me to understand. It wasn't cohesive, right? It's like this weird stuff happening, but why is it happening? What's my goal? Like, it wasn't cohesive. It's just like a bunch of random stuff.
I mean, that's not what I got out of it. I got it's a mutated boy, like, because of like,
yeah,
it's a nuclear wasteland, and this is an evolved character who seems like he's a young boy. It's somebody who, like, you know, you see that, like, the Godzilla type things where the nuclear stuff happens, and all of a sudden I don't care, like, about the cohesiveness of the story or anything. It's just looking at the gameplay. It just doesn't look fun.
Yeah, like, it bored me, and then right afterwards, I was feeling bored when they started talking about Pine. And then when I realized, like, they kind of told me about the depth of the game, because at first I was like, okay, I'm not sold on this. I don't know what this is. I'm getting bored. And once I realized that it's an open,
it looks like Breath of the Wild.
It does look like Breath of the Wild. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Except worse graphics.
Oh, sure. But the idea of, like, them being like, okay, it's a persistent world. It's an open world. These enemies are going to learn, like, your tactics. So if you start, and it's different, it's not just one, it's I think 6 factions, if I'm not mistaken. So, like,
something like that.
So you have different factions. They're all gonna essentially it reminded me of like Breath of the Wild meets
with Lord of the Rings, right?
Exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
it's exactly what I was gonna say, because
it's the exact thought that I had watching this trailer, dude.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
I was like, this is just, that system reminded me of that, and it made me go,
what was that system called?
Nemesis system.
Yeah, Nemesis system.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. This is interesting. It's different. The way that they sold me on that game.
Yeah.
Like I understood what they were trying to show me.
Yeah.
And
I felt it immediately. The only thing that I worry about is with that type of system running on the Switch, like how is the Switch not going to chug with this game?
Breath of the Wild didn't.
No, but I'm talking about with the Nemesis type system, that system where the thing that it said that the whole world reacts to your decisions. Yeah. How are they keeping that running in the background? That's where I wonder how well the game can run. Yeah. But I don't care. Like that was a game where as soon as I was like, this is Breath of the Wild, this is Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
I'm probably gonna play that.
I'm gonna play it. It looks fun. It looks like it'll eat up just enough of my time. What did you think about Katana?
So the thing about it is it looks dope.
Yeah.
It looks super, super dope. Uh-huh. But the only thing that I keep worrying about is that I'm gonna be terrible at it. Yeah.
So the game looks. I agree. Like I may not be good at it. It may be. I mean, it looks fun enough. I hope that it's either not too steep of a difficulty or it lets you choose. I know it is roguelike, but is it roguelike, or is it, because they were talking about like if you die, you rewind to the beginning of the level. Does that mean that the level starts over, or does it become a new level like a roguelike game?
No, the way that I got it is that because they said you learn each time, so the way that I don't think the levels change once you're in them. Okay. I think it stays the same like if you die, so that way if you die multiple times, like it's kind of old school where
like
before we got game overs, now we just rewind back to the beginning of the level.
Yeah. So like Castlevania style, where it's like, all right, try again, and you get good.
That's the way that I saw it, and that's where the thing where it's one hit, one kill.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about, is needing some type of like easy mode for being so terrible. But
at the same time,
Devolver killing it. Devolver comes out with so much stuff that I want to play. I just finished Ape Out.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah,
everybody should buy it.
And that's what I think. I think that the game may be difficult, but my guess is the levels won't take that long to go through, and that's a benefit. As opposed to like Symphony of the Night, where it's like 20 or 30 minutes of just like, you can do it different ways. You can replay it. There's different, and I don't think this will be that quick. I think it's somewhere between that and a Super Meat Boy, where you die, you restart, but it's instantly, and you don't have time to be upset that you died. It's like you're already back in the action, which I think that's the balance that really helps.
Yeah. I think no matter what, I'm gonna buy it. Devolver has now, over the last year or so, like I wasn't in on them 2 years ago. I thought the first time they did the E3 press conference, it was weird. I didn't get it. I get it now. I get what they're doing. They're doing whatever they want, and it's cool.
Yeah, well, they're showing. I think they're showing that these audiences, it's more than just a niche a group of people who would enjoy a game like this. If you have a decent game, you have price it the right way. That's a big thing. There's so many games that are like, we're AAA, we have to charge $60. It's like, is your game worth $60 though?
Yeah.
And I think Devolver and some others are showing like, you can sell a game for like $15, $20. What was Senua's Sacrifice? Wasn't it like 30 when it came out?
Too much.
Too much? You didn't like it?
No, never mind. I was thinking of the wrong game. I thought you were doing Square's I Am Setsuna.
Oh, no.
I Am Setsuna was too much. No, that was $30.
Yeah, $30. Like, so that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Looking at your product and saying, okay, well, it's probably worth this much. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that. I was about to say I'm not saying this, but at the same time, I could see paying a different scale for movie tickets to be like, oh, the Avengers movie, okay, you pay $12. Oh, you want to see this other movie, okay, you pay $7 or whatever. Like, I could totally see that where it's like, okay, this is a $500,000 movie that they just made, so.
Yeah, that'd actually be kind of cool. I bet you could get more people to go watch independent films if you made them cheaper than like doing like a AAA versus like a single or AA game.
Yeah, I was about to
doing a AAA movie.
I was about to poo-poo on the idea, but then I was like, you know what? No, because like there's movies where I'm like, oh, like Mary Queen of Scots came out, like, and Whitney and I were like, we should watch that. We're like,
Netflix.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. We're like, oh, let's wait for Netflix for it. But if that was like, oh well, but that movie's only like $3 or $4. Oh well.
Yeah.
Let's go do it. I think that makes a lot of sense. So maybe that'll happen. I'm sure someone else has already thought of that.
Probably.
What else did we have?
I don't know what video. Do you have just all of them queued up to where if I just pick one,
I only have the ones that we marked.
Okay. Did you get the Red Lantern marks?
I got Red Lantern. Yeah.
Okay. I think there's going to be a day where I'm having a particularly bad day.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have a bad day, and I'm okay to admit this because I'm comfortable in my masculinity, you're going to need to cry.
Yeah.
And the second that I saw this game and the narrative that was put behind it, and I saw the little dog because she's getting in the van and she's going to take her dog sledding across the Arctic, and you see a giant bear.
Ugh.
This game's gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna need it that day.
I
really dug the narrative. I couldn't tell if it was Ashley Birch. I didn't look it up afterwards. It really sounded like her. Ashley Birch, Horizon Zero Dawn, just for anybody who doesn't know. It looks so me. This game has me written all over it. It looks like it's like the way that they described it is that it's kind of open world, like it has some generative features. It's not going to be the same every gameplay, but there's going to be some like overarching narrative. I can already tell where she's probably going to be like talking to herself and talking to her dogs.
Yeah, I'm actually Googling it now to see if that is her. It did sound like her.
Yeah.
I want to play this. I do, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. When I saw like the bear attack, like if I lose dogs, and that's a definite thing that can happen in the Iditarod, because you're dog sledding through the ridiculous areas. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could deal with that situation. Yeah.
Yeah. That I had that aspect to it too, and like I said, there's going to be. It is Ashley Birch.
Yay!
Yeah. I just know that there's going to be a day that I need that kind of game.
I guess.
I don't know what day it will be, but it will be loaded on my Switch, and it will be like, man, I need to get some emotions out, because I'm really bad about doing that. I don't mind the fact that every once in a while I have to cry and stuff, but I have a hard time actually getting my body to do it. And I think just from this 30 to 45 seconds we had of the game, I think it's going to happen.
Oh, I started to cry just thinking about it right there. So our oldest dog is going to turn 10 in June.
Oh, yeah.
And we're talking about that. She's healthy. She's energetic. She plays with her sister. But we're okay, but we don't know when it's going to happen. And
you never know.
You never know. And it's already.
It seems like with dogs, it could just be
it's all
fall off the cliff type thing.
Yeah. So thinking about that and being I don't know. My dogs are my family, so I probably will play it. It's going to be. I don't know. I guess
I'll play it first.
You play it first. I don't know.
I'll play it first for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll let you know
if I can deal with it. But what Creature in the Well
Yeah.
I think this I can deal with. This I is not going to emotionally wreck me, and it's interesting. It's so unique, and I didn't realize. I'm glad that they spelled it out. The idea of it being inspired by pinball. So you have this isometric melee game.
Yeah.
That it's so again. I'm sorry, I keep saying interesting and unique, but I would not have thought of that. It's so innovative to merge these game styles.
That's why whenever we initially talked about the Indy, you like didn't catch everything right away. I wanted to put this game on your radar because this seemed like something I would like, but I instantly thought of talking about this game with you just because it's cool.
Yeah,
it's an action adventure pinball game. Like you're going across some world, you have like some sort of, they said you have some other weapons too. I forget how many it was, but the whole concept of, and you saw there on the trailer where like as far as getting to your next rooms, doing your little like kind of like Zelda like puzzles, it almost seemed like. I could be completely wrong there, but that's what it looked like to me. So. Having pinball mechanics in there, it seemed right up our alley. The game just looks like it's going to be a solid good time.
Yeah, no, I agree. And as soon as when they said, hey, we were inspired by this, we were inspired by pinball, we merged these things, and then I think I was like 5 or 6 seconds into the gameplay where I'm like, all right, sold. Like, that is so inventive, and I can definitely see myself playing it and enjoying it, and not maybe kind of like The Witness, like where it's a challenge, but at the same time it's not too much of a challenge and it's relaxing, to me at least.
Yeah, it didn't look like, I mean, I'm sure that I can get stressed playing in a game, but that's more of just being in the game. But like a lot of these indies that we saw, like it seems like these are perfect games on the Switch where it's like, I bet I could pick this up for 30 minutes, play through some areas, put it back down, get back to it the next day whenever I'm feeling it. Exactly. Like just play through some pinball like puzzles.
Yeah, and hopefully the levels and the challenges or whatever like are short enough that I'll be, because my Switch has become a lot of those kind of pick up and play kind of games.
Yeah,
I need to be able to just pick it up and just go. And so far, it's working really well with that. So, that's why
I'm glad. Like Kevin mentioned it in earlier when we were talking about a little bit about what you were playing, Moonlighter, like things like that, where I could spend 20 minutes on this game, feel satisfied, come back later, and not feel like bad. Yeah. Like not feel like I can't start the game up.
Yeah, well,
this is just adding to that list.
It's the reason that like I stopped playing World of Warcraft this recently. Why I stopped playing World of Warcraft was because I'm like, okay, it's every time I was like, okay, I want to play World of Warcraft. Hold on, I got to clear off my calendar for the next at least hour and a half. Otherwise, I'm not getting anything out of it. And one, having a monthly subscription, and two, being like, okay, that means it's like, choosing a movie to watch at night, where it's like, okay, I have to watch a movie. I can't watch two because I'm an adult. I got to wake up early, and you got to choose it quick, and you have to plan out your night. I can't do that with gaming. Like, I need to be able to. I'm okay with doing that for some games.
Yeah, I was about to say I can do it, but it's got to be special occasions.
It's special occasions.
It's got to be those things where my wife knows ahead of time.
Exactly.
Like I've explained this many times before. Like she knew when Spider-Man was coming out.
I told Whitney,
she knew that was my week.
Yep. I told Whitney Sekiro's coming out. And I got a call. From GameStop. Like, hey, you want to go pick it up? I'm like, can't, because it's like they're like, yeah, we'll be doing it at 9:00 Eastern, because obviously Eastern. And I'm like, well, how long are you guys gonna be open? He's like, as soon as the last person in that line, we shut the door. So like, I'm like, okay, well, it's stupid. So I'm gonna go pick it up tomorrow morning. I'm gonna load it up. I'm probably not gonna may or may not be able to play it tomorrow night. It's gonna be ready and loaded on the PlayStation though, for Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Like, it's gonna happen.
Those are the things that happen where like I slowly ease it in. I'm like, hey, Sekiro's coming out in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Just a one sentence thing. Nothing. Not even mentioning that I'm going to play it yet. Then like a week later, it's like, yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking about Sekiro. And there's those those times whenever your spouse looks at you like, what are you thinking about? Thinking about Sekiro. And then they just she just knows now that means okay, that's a game that I'm gonna lose a weekend to him.
Yeah.
But we can't do that all the time anymore.
No.
And that's why we need these Switch games.
That's exactly
it's
why we need
so
these
perfect.
games. Yeah. Well, it's like I've got friends of mine that that still do this, that they're married, but it doesn't work for our dynamic. It doesn't work for my lifestyle. Like,
yeah,
if I'm gonna, it's every now and then I'm gonna play a game like that. But other than that, it's got to be something I can fit into my busy schedule of all my schedule. Yeah. And a game that I will fit into my schedule though, which this is the classic Nintendo. Oh, one more thing. Let me save one more thing for you. Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah, boy.
And looking at the animation, I'm like, this is perfect. This is so perfect.
It's freaking jolly, dude.
Yes, it is jolly. Jolly old
Tell me
school.
that you didn't get Link to the Past up-res vibes on this, man.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It looks so good. The art style is absolutely perfect.
It's perfect. It's beautiful, and I got Link to the Past and the Link Between Worlds because I can't remember if I told you that I played Link Between Worlds before I played Link to the Past. I can't remember if I told you that.
No.
Yeah. So I didn't have a SNES. I didn't have a Game Boy. I borrowed a Game Boy for a little while to play Pokemon.
Yeah.
But because I didn't have that, I never played the game, and I knew it was a thing, kind of like Final Fantasy VI. I'm like, I know this is a big thing for some people. I get it. And then I played it right after I got Link Between Worlds, if I'm not mistaken. It was right before or right after. I'm pretty sure it's right after.
Did Link Between Worlds ruin it for you,
no.
or did you like it?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, like...
I get worried about with that sometimes.
No.
Whenever you play the wrong one first, type of thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Well, no, it didn't ruin it for me. Like, I appreciated it a lot, but also, I had someone basically tell me that they didn't like Ocarina because they felt like it was Link Between Worlds Part 2. Like, let's redo Link Between Worlds for 3D, which I'm like, not really. Like, yeah, like storyline wise, not gameplay, but story wise. I'm like, it's a generic Zelda plot. Like, seriously, like, collect the things.
It's like people complaining to me about Breath of the Wild having no plot. Like, oh, what do you want?
Okay,
this is Zelda. You know what
it had a
beat
plot,
beat the bad guy. That's the plot.
I feel like it had just as much plot as the other Zelda games. Where
it had more plot than the other Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, you have the same idea of you're going around and helping NPCs, which there's a lot more NPCs in this game than any other Zelda game. But going to the different areas and learning about their culture through quests, through dialogue, and learning about these different relationships that these people have. Also,
respect, I tell you.
Also having Link having a and they kept it ambiguous enough whether or not Link was in love with the Zora I forgot her name, the Zora princess.
Ruto.
Was it Ruto in Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's always Ruto, baby.
I didn't think it was Ruto. I thought it was it Midna?
Midna's Twilight Princess.
Wow. I didn't think it was Ruto, but like
it's Ruto.
They talked about like she was in love with him.
Yeah.
And like it was the kind of
who was the suit of armor made for?
Exactly. Only for and that was what they made for their husbands. I was like, that's so cool. It reminded me of like when you got into like Klingon culture in Deep Space Nine, when you like you realize like they're like, oh no, this is very special for them. It was so cool. But I love it, and I think this game is going to be amazing, and it's an instant buy. It's an instant.
Bring it back to Cadence for a sec. So for those of you who don't know anything about this whatsoever yet, first of all, check it out. But it's made by the people who made Crypt of the Necrodancer, which is it's super cheap on PlayStation. I'm pretty sure it has a Switch tax involved, but it's a great game for the Switch. Crypt of the Necrodancer is like a rogue-ish rhythm adventure fighting game. Like, I know that sounds crazy to say that, but there's dope. It has a great soundtrack to go in it. And now what they're doing is they're basically making Crypt of the Necrodancer but Hyrule. And it's so cool. Like, definitely go. He showed you the visuals, but definitely go watch the trailer. It's like 45 seconds long, and you'll hear the version of the classic Zelda overworld theme. If they do that throughout the entire game, it's going to be great. Zelda's a playable character in this. How often does the Legend of Zelda franchise get? How often does Nintendo let that license out? It's on Smash and it's on Hyrule Warriors, and that's literally it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. That's it. That's the only and Smash is a first party.
Yeah.
But
and so that means if Nintendo's willing to do that, if Nintendo's willing to let this company have a little taste of Zelda, like, that means that that Nintendo believes in it. It looks so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
I was so happy to, like, this one more thing. This made the whole showcase for me. Even though, again, I think that this is a great showcase. There's like 5 or 6 games on here that we didn't talk about because they're not for either of us. But they're definitely for somebody. But out of the 1, 2, 3, I think I counted 18 games. I liked over 10 of them. This was a 29-minute conference where they showed 18 games. I keep having to say this over and over again. Nintendo, you respect my time.
Yes.
And you do it so well. I'm going to keep saying it until you mess up. The last 2 years have been the best directs ever. Like, every once in a while I'm a little underwhelmed, but no matter what, you're always going from the next game to the next game. There was no let up in this. There's 18 games in 29 minutes. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I was underwhelmed by a lot of these things, but like going through the ones that I liked hit. And there wasn't too much of a lull or too much of a lag where they're like, all right, we're talking about this game too long. It respected our time, and I respect Nintendo for that. Yeah.
Before we end it, one thing that we glossed over with Cuphead, they're in cahoots with Microsoft. Something's going down, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fully beating this drum now. Something is going to happen at E3. I don't know what it is yet. They're going to walk on stage with a Switch. There's going to be something like that happens. And it's going to be crazy. Microsoft's going to bring it, and it's going to involve Nintendo.
Yep. And we're going to be there. We're going to be there.
Yeah.
If I can make it happen, I'm going to stream I'm going to either stream my reactions to it live or, shortly after, but it's going to happen. I'm excited.
We have to.
And I can't wait.
Oh. Like, I can't. It's big. But Cuphead, this hadn't even been announced. We just thought it was going to be Ori.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, hey, here's Cuphead. And not only that, it's Cuphead next month.
Yeah.
Comes out April 18th.
Yeah. Perfect.
Crazy.
Perfect stuff. I'm very excited about it. Anyways, let us know in the comments what you're excited about from the Nindies or in future of gaming in general. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads. Subscribe over here and click the bell, and that way you'll know about any new videos that we put up, because we put up a lot of gameplay, a lot of stories from games and stuff like that, and gameplay is down here.
Yeah, and you got more editorials and news stuff down here. Check it out.